In this video, I'm going to walk you through lesson 3 of unit 7.1. So first of all, we are thinking about the bath bombs and we have some questions about them and we've recorded them. And so we look at our questions and we realize we should really find out what's in these bath bombs. And so we analyze an ingredients list. And so here is a handout that has all the ingredients that are found in the different recipes. So you've got recipe A, B, C, and D. You also have a store-bought bath bomb. You've got some ingredients there. So there's actually 2 on here. Formatting's a little off, but you can adjust that. And so you will hand out this to students to look at the ingredients. And then we look at our questions and we realize what should we do? What investigation ideas should we do? Maybe we should test them with water because maybe one of these ingredients makes bubbles with water. Let's find out. And so we decide, first of all, we create a data table and we're going to make observations of the ingredients before we add them with water. We're really developing the idea of properties. And so we're going to have students create a data table in their notebook, and they're going to make a list of observations about each ingredient. We're not mixing anything yet. And then we're going to investigate what happens when we mix those ingredients with water. Now, there is a lab procedure. Although I don't think you need this lab procedure, you're just simply mixing water with the ingredient and you're making observations. You can model this pretty easily. I would not be using a cup and a spoon and this much water. I would use very minimal amounts of your ingredients and water. So in the materials list or prep video, I talk about using a well plate or an ice cube tray, just small amounts. There's not much that happens here, so you don't need to waste a lot of materials. Okay, so you probably don't need to print that out. You can just model how to mix however you decide to do that with water, each ingredient, and then you're going to talk about what happened. And so you're going to discuss the words and earn the words dissolve, soluble, and insoluble. So sometimes the powder dissolves in the water. That means it's soluble. When it doesn't dissolve in the water, it's insoluble, and we add them to the word wall. Now, word wall is simply a space on your board that you title word wall, and as students earn words because we've developed the meaning, the definition goes on the wall. And so once it's on the wall, students can use it and are expected to use it in their discussions because we've developed the meaning. It is helpful if you put a picture with the word, but not necessary. I do talk about in the materials prep, a personal glossary is another way to do that. Okay, we're going to share the results of our investigations and we're going to record them on a handout. Now this can be projected in front of the class and you can make a class data table. You can hand one out to each student, have them fill it out. It's up to you. It's a little bit... It depends on how you want to do this. If you want a lot of hands-on and you want students to look at a lot of ingredients mixing with water, you might have each group do all of the ingredients. I do suggest you keep the oils as a demo. They're very hard to clean up. So, or you can have each group do 2. So water, obviously, we're not going to be mixing with water, but we're going to look at sugar and citric acid. What happens? Are they soluble? We're going to record their state at room temperature. So are they solid, liquid, gas? Are they soluble? And then any other observations? Are they, what color are they, texture, things like that. So we record the room temperature on that and we state the substance. So I just went through all of that and determine if it's soluble or not. We developed the term property. So we're going to use the characteristics that we have developed and we've looked at, and we're going to name that as being called a property of a substance that do not change. Mass can change, volume can change, but the color is not going to change, and the melting point is not going to change, and the state of matter at room temperature is not going to change. So once we've developed the word property, and I think while we're doing this, the slideshow will walk you through as well. You're also going to switch the term ingredient to substances. So we're developing a lot of terms here, chemistry terms, to help us as we go through this unit. So we're done with lesson 3 and we're going to update our progress trackers. I will tell you that there's a slide at the end of the slideshow. You're going to do this again in lesson 4. So I would say take a look at the beginning of lesson 4 and decide where you would want to do it. I would do it only once, not both times. And so a progress tracker, if we have not talked about it before, is where they write down the question and what they figured out. If I remember correctly, in lesson 4, it's a 3-column progress tracker. I just gave a note right here. I've also provided a template, a 4-column progress tracker, where you put where you got that evidence, and the evidence comes from our investigation. So that's our source of evidence. So that should be on my website, a template that you can use for a progress tracker. Here's an answer key. It shows you what should be in the progress tracker from lesson 3 and lesson 4. I will say students are not really good at doing this on their own the first time they are experiencing an Open SciEd unit. Sometimes we like to do this under the DocCam first, model what we want. We get students' ideas, we write it down and have them kind of copy what we're writing. But the intent of this is to have students organize their thinking and to put down what they have figured out. So they're metacognitively processing what they learned and writing it down to not only document it and see how their thinking changes over the unit, but also just as a technique to kind of process and refine our thinking. Okay, that's it. There is an exit ticket at the end of this lesson. You can see it right here. It's just some questions. So you hand out note cards, they answer this, and then that can help you kind of gauge what students have taken away from the lesson. All right, good luck with lesson 3.